notice there's a home page, announcements, grades, stuff like that. Grades is where you're going to go to see your grades on your assignments. Modules is just going to show all the assignments that we're going to go to. These are all the different ones, combining and separating. You will notice that these match up with what was on the home page right down here. So that's just another link to get to it. Google Drive. Did you guys go ahead and verify or authorize Google Drive? So everybody can use that? Great. And then obviously that's your link to get on there. When we go down here and click on Discovery Education DE, this is just an introduction of how we go through the chapter. This right here is what Jan LaFoon put on. In case you couldn't get on, this is another way to get onto the textbook. But down here is how we use the website. And I'll click the website in a minute and show you as we go through it. I don't want to read this word for word for you. You guys will fall asleep and, you know, I'll lose you like the kids. But main thing when we get down here, Discovery Ed is divided up into 5 E's. There's engage, explore, evaluate, something STEM. I can just show you.
Elaborate with STEM.
Elaborate with STEM. We only use 3 out of the 5. Every once in a while we'll add STEM, but the, one of them we don't really use because we didn't like that material. If you guys want to use it, it's totally up to you. I'll show you that in just a second. This just tells you how to log on, shows you a little example. But I'm going to go ahead and just click on one of the units and you'll be able to see. So I'm going to go down here. After you get into that, combining and separating is your first unit. We have a link up here at the top. You can see it's underlined. If you click on it, it should take you right to, sorry, I wasn't on the textbook yet. It should take you to the exact book and unit. I'm on the student side, so it looks a little bit different for me. All right, so you see at the top where it says General Science, or excuse me, Physical Science 628. NGSS is just the new Generation Science Standards, which Kansas uses. Matter and energy is the topic, but if you scroll up, you can see all the different titles. Underneath those titles have different little chapters. Okay? Is everybody good with that? You guys, have you been there? Okay. If you click on, let's say we're going to go through, our first one is combining and separating. If you click on combining and separating, it will actually pull up the 5 E's. Engage, explore, explain, elaborate with STEM, evaluate. And over here, you don't have model lesson because that's a teacher thing. So let me put it like you would see. We always start with engage, which is basically an introduction to the chapter. You can go through it. You'll notice that there's a blue highlighted word. If you click on that, it automatically takes you to a glossary built in. The glossary, for some reason, I don't know why, always pops up animation first. It gives you an animation example of the word. You can also see the definition. There's a video that you can watch to give you another idea, or there's also images. So there's 4 different ways for you to learn the word, or see it different ways, depending on what type of learner you are. Then you just exit out of that. Since we're on the glossary, right over here, you see where my cursor is? That's a glossary as well, so you can click there as well. And you just type in whatever word you want to find. Anyway, you can read stuff. If I click on this word right here, or highlight like this, I get a pop-up. That pop-up, if you have trouble reading, there's a speak to text where it will read what you highlighted, in case you need help that way. You can highlight, I want it in pink, it'll highlight it pink, then I know that's important information to go back later. If I click on it again, I can also add a note. So make a note to myself. Maybe an example of what I highlighted or something else. You come up with your own example. When you do this, I'll show you in a little bit, it'll keep a notebook for you. Not only what you highlight, but what you add as a note. Okay? And over here on the side, this is the toolbar. Let me click off of this. Over here, you can see where it says My Notebook. If I click on My Notebook, there's what I just highlighted. And if I would have added a note, the note would be right here. Does that make sense? Pretty simple. Okay. And then you can just exit out of that and go right back where you were at. All right. Down here at the bottom, there are some that are images. Some could be videos. Some could be virtual labs. Just different things. Notice that there is a plus sign here. If you want to watch this and you thought it was really good and you want to go back and review it later, if you hit plus, you'll see the little thing that popped up. Up here at the top of your page, you see this little thing that says quick list. There's a quick list of what you just added to that. So things to go back and study. If you click on those three dots, it gives you more actions, and you can remove it from quick list later and create a new quick list when you go to the next unit. The other little options is more for like the teacher. We can assign it to kids in our class if we want them to watch one or whatever, and it'll come up on their home page and they know to watch it. I just usually have them, okay, click the plus on these, this is your homework. So we can come back the next day and talk about those.
And virtual school students, we just expect you to go through all of that.
Yeah.
We don't assign per se each video and each article.
Down below, here's a video. You can watch it either by clicking on this, and it's usually a shorter version. But if you click on the arrow, if there's a longer version of the video, see now it's 2 minutes and 49 seconds, you can watch all of it. So if you just want a certain little clip, like the main little point, you can just watch it in the book. Otherwise, if you click this, it takes it there. And over here on the side where it says, is our streaming gone this year? Oh, I'm on the kids side, sorry.
Yeah, that's the kid one.
Yeah. If you ever want to search a video, you can type it in here and it'll take you to where the videos are as well. Okay, let me go back. Okay, down at the bottom you can see here's a video segment. These are all video segments. Have you guys ever seen Mythbusters? Nobody? Anything that goes along with Discovery Ed or Discovery Channel has been supposedly with the website proof, so it has proper content, not anything that should be above 7th and 8th grade level, so it should be appropriate for the course line. Down at the bottom, they have little interactive questions to kind of review. Now, since this is an engaged page, this is kind of a practice, just kind of see what you know. And a lot of these are just, I'm just going to go drag and drop. And you can go like that, and then down at the bottom you can hit submit. Well, it tells you what you got right or wrong. If you hit correct, it tells you what should have been there altogether.
Does that submit to the teacher?
To me, yes, if it comes there. Okay? I have something over here called a dashboard. So if I go to the dashboard, I can see the kids that I put in here, and I can see that, oh, they missed this, oh, they got that one right.
Yeah, see, that's one question, but this is only...
Virtual school, I probably wouldn't see it.
Well, it says it's submitted to teacher.
Okay, well, it might be.
But what I'm asking is, this way our instructions are, do that first, do the questions first, and then go back and do the way I read it.
Yeah, we want you to do all of this in practice.
But if they submit it to, like, my wife was all upset, because he did it, he missed a bunch of them, and then...
Well,
but it's not for a grade.
Yeah, that's what I'm...
Yeah, no, only thing you're going to grade on is the test.
Okay.
So you're good.
Yeah.
This is just practice.
The engaged page is just trying to ask the student, what do you know go into the chapter. It's a pre-chapter assessment, so it doesn't go on their grade. But they can sure look at it and go, oh, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to learn more on this area because I got a lot in the red area. But it is a pre-chapter page here. We don't expect them to know it all on this page.
Okay. Down at the bottom, like I said, there's more little interactive questions. Then down at the very bottom, you can just hit next, and it takes you to Explore. Now, notice Explore has 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. Okay, and we go through each section just like we did on the one before, discussing, talking, whatever. When you get to Explore More Resources, this is kind of an extra. This is where they have a little extra video segments. This is where you might find another reading passage or another resource. Down here, let's see if they have it. Not on this one, but some of them have like little virtual labs. So you can do like little virtual experiments, little simulations, stuff like that. I'll see if I can find one maybe on the next page. Oh, real quick. The Explain is the one that we kind of skip. We didn't really prefer that one. But we do add the STEM every now and then. So if you read one of these STEM and you think it's interesting, go ahead and do it by all means. It's just going to reinforce what you've been learning. The last one we go over is Evaluate. And Evaluate is basically the review. It's reviewing the main bullets, a little bit of information. There's usually one last little video quiz where they kind of give you a little quiz with what video. And then down here where it says combining and separating, this is a practice test. Usually these are about 8 to 10, maybe 12 questions. And when you're done, you hit submit. It tells you what you missed, because it'll have a red X. You just click on the red X and it goes back to that question, shows you what you put and what you should have put. So it's another review beforehand. Over here on the side is just another way that you can, add to the quick list. If you have a wireless printer, you can print some things, but if you don't have a wireless printer, it won't work. This is another option. Notice there's an English level A and B. B is a little bit easier to read than A. It's the same material, it's just less wordy. The rigor kind of goes down a little bit. There is a little toolbox down here which has a built-in graphing calculator, a whiteboard where you can do things if you want, and unit converter from like metric system to English system, or from kilometers to meters, something like that. Over here on the side, there's something called a builder's tool, and this is totally up to you. This is just like make presentation boards if you want to study something. See where it says board builder? And sometimes the kids like to do this, sometimes they don't. But it gives you little templates, and then say you're studying energy, you can just do a little board. You can have them do a little board and turn it into you. And you can say, okay, you need to, read a passage or put an article on it. You can add videos, you can add articles, and it usually comes all from things that's been approved as well. They give you options to choose from. So if you want to use that. Real quick, back to this right here. Down at the very bottom is the main one where it says guided practice. This is where you go and you find out what exactly to do. This is telling you to go through, engage, and explore, just like what I went through. But down at the bottom it says highly recommended for the test. You really need to go through all of this before you take a test. If you don't, you're probably not prepared. There's some little videos. Here's some extra notes. There's a study guide. A lot of times the study guide will have a little reminder of what to look at, but then there's also, we put on there some practice questions, okay? If you don't turn those in, you just would grade those as the parent, okay? So, that's pretty much it in a nutshell, unless you guys have questions. Did you have a question?
No, we have to just